Welcome to the Shergroup podcast, where we share ideas on how to help businesses grow and prosper in the online world. Join host, Chief Shergroupie, Claire Sambrook, as she discusses her digital journey and how Shergroup is helping thousands to keep their business flowing and growing. Here on the Shergroupie podcast.
So, good morning and good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I hope today you're having a great day and welcome to this edition of Shergroup on the Sofa. And today I have my good friend Baiba with me, and she's going to be talking about credit management and her exciting role in her global position as a credit manager out of Ireland. So we're going to find out all about you, Baiba, in a moment. But before we get into the interview, as I always do on our show, I'm going to give a little shout out to my number one fan, Ross Saunders. So, hey, Ross, you're in Norwich, England today. So hello from me. And I think Babe is going to give you a little hello.
Hey, Ross. Hi, just from across the little sea.
Yeah, we got a lot of Irish genes in our gene pool, Babe. So there you go. All right, so we're going to be talking to Baiba today, and let's just kick off. So how did you get into credit management? And I know you're passionate about this, so what sparked your interest?
Well, I think it's not going to be a surprise to anyone, as many of us in credit management, I happened to get there by the accident.
Everyone said that.
Exactly. I moved to the new country. I moved to Ireland. I was looking for some roles that are suitable for me and working in a petrol station at the beginning just to make the ends meet.
Okay.
Then applying for the office jobs. And I got my first role in credit management because I speak Russian. And they needed somebody to cover Russia and Eastern Europe markets. So I came in handy. I came in with no experience whatsoever.
Yeah.
And started learning everything about the credit and collections. And what happens next is, I think, what sparked my interest most in this profession and what sparked my passion about it. 2008 happened when I was less than a year in credit management. So that was kind of christening by the fire there. Very, very interesting times. I didn't think it then that it was interesting, but I recognize it now that it was really interesting times that we were going through, and especially working in that market where Russian ruble was getting cheaper by the minute, and well, all the world was going haywire. So
yeah, I remember it. So that's what got you into
really
it.
that got me hooked. I think that I saw how interesting this profession can really be and how much more there is to it rather than just calling the customers or partners and getting the money in.
Yeah. What do they say? Turnover is vanity and cash flow is sanity. And in that type of environment, cash flow is really in the middle of a world recession. We'll get into your magnificent job that you do a little while later in the interview. But you've grown your role, I know. So talking to you as I have, you're definitely a woman in tech leadership, which is great to see. You know, I mean, we still got a little bit of catching up to do. I think we can agree that as the female gender on this call. So what unique challenge, and for all the guys out there, we know you support us. Okay, we know, I've had fantastic male mentors, so I suspect Baiba has as well. So we understand that. But what unique challenges have you faced? I mean, what advice would you give to other women in this sector, as they're coming up through their careers?
Yeah, I think absolutely all the guys you are supporting, and as Claire, I have had amazing male mentors, and I wouldn't be sitting here if I didn't have them.
Yeah.
But however, as a woman, we have some unique challenges that nobody else would experience. And one of them is like talking from the experience, I was afraid to go on a maternity leave. I was scared, not because my company wouldn't support me, they would support me. And in Ireland as well, maternity leave is protected and nothing could happen to my job. What I was afraid of is being left behind. Yeah. Not getting the opportunities that may come up in a year that I would be off.
Yes.
Coming back to work and being obsolete.
Yes.
And that was all going through my head, and that was constant worry all through my maternity leave.
Mm.
When I came back, the reality was a bit different. The reality was that they, if anything, they appreciated me even more after a year I've been off.
That's good. That's great.
But we have these fears, and it can happen as well that you're overlooked because you're not there. And I think that is very important for all the professionals or the females. Get yourself those mentors. Get yourself, advocate for yourself. Don't let the be forgotten. Don't get forgotten. And there is this sometimes as well as I think many of us have experienced. You're entering the boys' club. And the conversation is about football, and conversation is about something else that I have no clue. I don't follow football. So don't be afraid to start steering the conversation your way. Have a little bit of courage. And don't lose your voice in between, which is sometimes can be very, very hard and overwhelming.
Yes. Well, I like David Beckham, and I follow him on Instagram. I don't know if that counts, but when I watched the Beckham documentary, what was very interesting about that was Victoria Beckham didn't seem that interested in football either. So I think we're in good company, Baiba. We're not on our own as people that I'm married to a football fan. And so, I understand that completely. And I think the workplace is evolving as well in terms of inclusion and having, things that everybody can talk about as opposed to, one particular segment of the workforce, right?
I think we have progressed, and even if you look around the world, they talk about even taking into consideration not only like childbirth, but also menopause and how that can impact what impact that can have on your career and on your well-being, even.
Yes.
So, like, we've gone ways and ways.
Well, as women, we've never been very vocal in the past of talking about these things because it wasn't done. My mother never talked to me about them, and I, you may have been the same. And many women, we're now having the not the courage exactly, but these sorts of things are things that everybody has to take on board in the workplace, because women will have to take time off to have children, and they will have to take, they will be impacted by changes as they get older. And so a fully inclusive, diverse workforce, like it seems you have, which is great, are going to take those changes on board and help women to move forward without it, as you say, taking them away from their careers, which is great. So I hope you feel that that's where you've ended up. How many children have you got?
Two and a half, as I say. I have 2 children and 1 stepchild.
Okay, great. So so you're a busy working mom, as well as doing a big job. So I take my hat off to everyone that achieves that. And of course, there are working dads out there as well. There are I don't like house husband, but Mr. Moms out there as well. Maybe they've stepped back from their career to help their wife with the children. So it's a different world, really, whether it's evening up. Everybody's kind of
and I think it's also for women, it's important to find your village. We don't live in a world where our village is naturally around us. Like, my parents are 2,000 kilometers from me.
Yes.
so I have to find my village around me. I have to find my friends. I have to, like, my husband is supporting me tremendously, and he's at the moment staying home and looking after kids, and I'm doing the career. So
yes, yeah, you're right. We do have to find our village, and yeah. So I'm glad that you seem to have found yours, and you've made a home and a place of work, and been successful. That's fantastic. That's what we all aim for, right? If we start a career, we want to be in a good place, and we want to have children as well. So why
yeah,
can't we
it's difficult to have the both worlds, but it's definitely possible.
It's definitely possible, isn't it? It's definitely possible. So so you're now, just tell us, who do you work for and what is your responsibility? I know you're going to get into that, but just so everybody understands the size of job that you do have, tell everyone.
I work for a company called Ivanti. It's an IT security company, and I am managing the global credit and collections, roughly 1 billion a year. So
$1 billion a year you're managing as their cash flow, and you've got operations globally. I know you've got some in North America.
yeah,
Is the center of operations in Ireland?
we've got teams in North America, in Ireland, and in Mumbai, in India.
Okay, great. And you're talking to all those guys. You told me you never sleep. Like, you're talking to those guys all day long, like
I
24
never
hours.
sleep. I am the credit manager who never sleeps.
I saw that on. I think that was on your LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's another passion that we can talk about a bit later. But yeah,
I think that's amazing. So 2.5, your family plus this work family, which stretches around the world. So fantastic to hear that. Great inspiration for those of us, or those of you who I'm past. I've done my career. I'm tail end. But for those of you that are starting out, this lady is doing it all. So I'm super impressed. So how do you think credit management is going to evolve with technology? The increasing integration of technology into credit, is it a good thing? Is it not going to have an impact? What do you say about that?
I think it's a fantastic thing. It's a thing that all of us have been waiting for and have been needing.
Right.
However, it is going to change our profession, in my opinion, dramatically. But not to sound like doomsday, it's going to change our profession for better.
Good. Okay, I like that.
In my opinion, like, the AI is going to come in and take away all the transactional things. It's going to take away all the boring stuff that we do. Where does it leave me as a credit manager? It gives me time to develop the strategies. It gives me time to really research the markets and find out what are the best strategies for the credit. How can we maximize the sales, maximize the cash flow? Our role will broaden. We're going to need to understand macroeconomic environment. We will need to, especially if you want a global role, you will need to understand what is going on everywhere in the world, and that's fantastic. Credit managers will be negotiators. They will be strategists. They will be the right hands of the CFOs and the treasury, and that is going to be, I think, we will be reevaluated in the field. We will truly and honestly, for once, get out of the basement. And we have been, like, profession as such has been evolving in the last decade, definitely out of the basement, out of the back office function, into the sun and into the world. And now, with all the turmoil, even more so. We will have these big conversations. We will help to form as well the sales strategies. And we have to acknowledge that. We have to also prepare ourselves for that and educate ourselves for that, because not everyone might be ready for the shift that is coming. You're not going to be sitting and collecting your money. You will be looking into the future, and you will be testing the winds that are coming.
Do you think that involves kind of you talk about strategies. Do you see the credit manager, credit director even getting involved in the sort of target markets and the target customers and creating the or having, you know, real input into the terms on which the product or service is sold so that it fits the company's cash flow better?
Absolutely. And one great thing that is happening in our company at the moment is I am part of the finance team, but I am part of the go-to-market team.
Right.
And that has shift that gives me more influence over how the sales decisions are made. And that gives me not sometimes maybe not influence, but even visibility. And knowing that, like for instance, I attended the sales kickoff at the beginning of the year. Yeah. And somebody might say, what business does credit manager has at the sales kickoff? All of the business, because that is I saw the strategy that they're coming up with. I saw immediately where the pitfalls could be and start preparing for them.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, relationship building with those salespeople and sales leaders that you need badly to do your job effectively.
Yes. Because Ivanti, now, just explain to everyone what Ivanti is actually selling. What is the product or service?
Mainly, it is cybersecurity. It is making sure that your devices, all your devices the company has, are safe from the hacker attacks. Your VPNs are safe. Everything is safe.
Right. Hence the global nature of the business, because that's a worldwide problem, not unique to any one jurisdiction. So you must have large corporations coming in and wanting to buy that entire, put in cybersecurity, provisions for their entire organization or their entire, worldwide community. I can only imagine that there's huge contracts being negotiated by your business, and those are the types of customers that you've got to. I suppose it's a competitive market as well. I mean, you're not the only provider of that type of service. So
it's a very competitive. Yeah,
they're very competitive. And as part of your strategies, are you looking at what your competitors are doing in terms of credit management for these types of accounts? Is that part of your...
Absolutely, we have to. And because like many of the customers are also government entities that needs a product. So, and that work is done through the tender, and there's very little lenience that you can do. So, but all the different things in the competitive market that you need to apply, and how do you keep that fragile balance between risk and...
Indeed, I see that. So that's, I mean, in a nutshell, that's a great future for credit professionals to be involved in the actual taking on of the business right at the get-go, rather than kind of trying to tidy it up partway into the contract and then the customer defaults and you're trying to tidy it up. You're actually proactively getting involved at the front.
You need to get involved up in front. And the other thing is my humble advice to the CFOs here is that talk to your credit managers. They have a hand, first of all, in all your cash.
Funny that.
Secondly, they have a hand on the pulse of the customer, because if something goes wrong with the customer, your credit guys, not even the sales guys, hear it first. Your credit guys hear it first.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay because your product doesn't work. I'm not going to pay because something has gone wrong in a sales cycle. I'm not going to pay because there is something fundamentally wrong. Your credit guys know that, and they often don't have a forum to voice this. So give them voice.
Yeah, very sensible. So for somebody, who's looking to sort of move forward in their credit career, what would be your top 3 tips for a young person, or a person maybe having a second career starting out in credit? What's the top tips from you?
Somebody starting in collections, I think, embrace continuous learning. This world is changing faster than it ever has. The profession is changing. As it ties in what I said before, like we will be talking to the CFOs, CEOs, helping to deal with the strategy. Make sure you are you're ready for that. Future-proof yourself. Invest in your education, invest in the broader views, whatever it is. Take courses in credit management, take courses in global economy, whatever it is that interests you, become a specialist somewhere. I think that would be very, very, very important. The second thing probably is don't be afraid of technology.
Right.
Master it. Jump on that train. Make sure that train doesn't leave you on the platform, because if you're left behind, you're going to stay behind. Jump on the train. Be abreast what is happening. Go to the Credit Congress and all the different events that there are, where you can learn what is the latest and greatest. You don't have to buy all the technology that there is possible, but you need to know what is out there.
Yeah, that's good advice.
And then for the credit managers, like who are starting to be managers, managing credit a little bit higher, have a good look at your credit policy right now. Take it away, blow the dust off it, and take a good look at it. Your credit policy should not be a document, should not be a folder that is sitting somewhere and gathering dust for 10 years. And once off, when the auditors come around and ask for it, you blow the dust off and show it to them. Your credit policy should be living, breathing, 5-page document, not a folder. That you can adapt, that you can, is your credit policy relevant to current market? Is it up to date? Is it, because that's your one thing that you can follow, and that actually helps you to do your job if it's set up correctly and up to date.
Yeah, it's very good advice. I've got a funny feeling that Ivanti's credit policy is a very living, breathing thing.
It changes daily.
It changes daily. No, good for you. I think that must be right. As your business is changing, that's having to keep up with you. I think that's a great touchstone as well for your people, that your team, that they've got that. I mean, I know that you got your MBA, so many congratulations on that. Again, and you were talking about education and not being left behind. So obviously you're taking your own advice, which is fantastic to see. How has that influenced your approach to leadership?
Greatly. That's a short answer. The longer answer now. When I just started my MBA journey, somebody told me, not even one person, many people told me that that's going to change my career and change my thinking. And I was like, I didn't really believe them.
Yeah.
I was very skeptical about it. It's just a course. Okay, it's a master's course, but it's still just a college course. I have to humbly admit now that they were all right and I was wrong. It gave me, first of all, it gave me confidence. It gave me self-belief that I can.
Yes.
Even during the studies, you meet so many people who are way higher up than you in their career path. And understanding that, yes, I am able to have a conversation with them and don't look silly on that conversation. And that was something that was my own kind of insecurity. I always felt, oh my God. Yeah. And growing that confidence, growing the understanding that I can follow the business acumen and I can have those conversations and it's okay. The next thing is the network. During the studies, you meet so many people. It expands your network and getting to know and seeing so many different perspectives. On my MBA course, there were corporate people with corporate careers, people from the government, people from the NHS, the National Health Service in UK, and such a diverse background that you have no contacts everywhere. And I think one more thing maybe is the big picture thinking. I've been always more kind of thinking in a bigger picture terms, but I didn't always understand the picture. This has given, I still don't always understand the picture, but this has given me a better understanding how those cogs go together and how those details come together. And when the decisions are made above me, I can pull the pieces together and understand better why they are being made, instead of saying, hey, yeah, they decided, so now we're doing that. And I can also, my team, I can explain it better to my team. why
Sure.
why we're doing some changes that we're doing.
Sure. No, I
Going
think,
back.
yeah, I mean, and so people will put all Baiba's details in the show notes. And please, guys, link up with her on LinkedIn. And you know, and get her as a contact on LinkedIn for all the information that she's giving you. You know, this wonderful backdrop to her career, where she got her MBA, and where did you get your MBA from?
Yeah,
Can you
from the
tell?
Open University.
From the Open University, okay. So you might be thinking, well, could I do that? You know, and so I'm sure she'll be happy to link up with you and share her journey and some of the practical stuff that she's talking about today, because it's fascinating. And I'm so in awe of you. I've always wanted to do an MBA and I've never found the time to do it. And so I'm really in awe of you that you've done that with a young family as well. It's amazing. Now,
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
I just gonna add one more thing.
Yeah.
As you're connecting with me in LinkedIn, then please do. You'll see that also out of the MBA program was born the credit manager who never sleeps. That's my little blog that
I
I'm
saw
writing on
that.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And have a look at that as well, because I write about the things that are relevant to credit management, about the frustrations and glory of our job. I also write the little things about the leadership and especially leadership at the remote setting. So yeah, link up.
I love that. I mean, somebody that's prepared to share their insight in that way is very generous. You know, not everybody does that. And so to see you doing that and inspiring other people to look for a profession in credit management and to learn from your example is tremendous. I really love to see that in people. So turning away from credit management, which I think this bit of your life gives you your personality and your sparkle, but you're a thespian, aren't you? You're a theatre director. And I say that because I have a son who's trained to be an actor. So how do you think your creative endeavors really sort of influence your leadership style in credit management?
I think like theater has always been my passions. Ever since I remember myself, theater has been my passion. And long before I got my MBA, I got my theater director degree. I think like being a theater director, it's a leadership role in itself. It's a leadership role in a very complicated world of the creative people.
Right.
And as a theater director, you are involved in everything. You have it's a collaboration. First of all, it's a big collaboration. You are yourself, you have your costume designers, you have the lights, you have the sounds, you have the actors, each with their own personality, and you have to bring them all together like a beautiful symphony and make that end product make sense, which is not always easy. So first of all, I think it has influenced how I manage my team, how I lead my teams, and how I create this symphony so it works. Which is balancing many little things.
Is that how you see your credit team, a symphony? Is that how you see bringing all of them together and making all that?
When it works perfectly, it's definitely a symphony. As I say, I often say credit is not accounting. Credit is a form of art, and I will always stand by it. We sit under finance, but it's a form of art.
I love it. I've never heard anyone call credit a form of art before, but I understand what you're saying.
And also the emotional intelligence. Theater is based on empathy, getting into others' shoes.
Yes.
That has given me the emotional intelligence, the ability to get into others' shoes, the ability to understand my team members, my customers, for better or worse.
Yes. No, I understand it. I think it's fantastic that I mean, let's face it, credit is not always seen. Although you're debunking that today, we'll talk about another myth in a minute. You're debunking a moment, but you're changing the perception of what a credit manager looks like in this interview. I can tell you that now. You've done so much for credit management today. I take my hat off to you. You've got some great ideas there about making credit management, wow, a real career option for people that didn't think, it was for them, and how they bring their own personality to the role, which is what, dry, dusty roles previously need. They can be kind of souped up and given a dust down like you're doing with your role, and that's great to see. Yeah,
you have to be creative in credit, like thinking problem solving, thinking out of the box is what we do day to day.
Yeah,
every single credit manager I have met is a great problem solver.
Yes. Yeah, because you're getting problems, every week, aren't you? Every customer is a potential problem. So.
Yeah. Let's say if I know the customer's name, that's bad.
For anybody that uses Ivanti cyber security products, don't be on Baiba's radar. It's true. I can say that.
You don't know the names of the good payers. They just come and go in and out.
No, I do understand that in my own role. I could say the same thing. You don't want to be on my radar. So no, I completely understand that. One of the things we asked you about preparing for today's interview was to give us some thought leadership, and you've talked about a myth about credit management you'd like to debunk. So here's your platform. Debunk. What is it?
There you go. Sales and credit are not enemies. I said
it. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard anyone say it like that before, but yes, I've heard something around that. But what do you mean by
that? If you put sales and credit against each other, they will fight till the end and they will kill each other and there will be nobody left alive.
This is all sounding very dramatic. Yeah, but you've seen it, obviously.
The theater. But it's true. You will hurt your teams, you will hurt your credit team, you will hurt your sales team, and you will hurt your revenue, most of all. If you put them working together, amazing things can happen.
So how many sales teams do you work with? I mean, you must work with people all around the world in sales as well as credit.
Yes, way more than credit people. No, all of them. I really don't know how many. All of them. Sales, renewals.
I'm beginning to think you're a bit of a star at Ivanti. I bet everybody knows you on the Ivanti team.
I hope so.
I think that's good. Not just in the credit department, in the sales department as well, in the sales operations.
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, and because I think, like, I'm always saying, break down those barriers, break down those silos. Because yes, we want to sell to some customer who is maybe not the best in credit terms. If you are nice to your credit manager, they will come up with a way that you can sell to them. There's always a way. There are sometimes no ways, but most of the times there is always the way that we can make it work and we can find some kind of middle ground. And that goes to both salespeople and credit people. We both need to step one step forward, 1 foot forward, and it's a constant battle. I'm still battling that constantly with both sales teams and credit teams that I manage, because it's not always like my teams get frustrated sometimes with me when I say, no, you need to offer a different solution to the sales guy, and he's like, no, but this customer is very annoying and they I don't like them and I'm not going to give them any credit anymore. I was like, no. Okay, you're not going to give them any credit today. You're not going to give them any credit tomorrow. And the day after tomorrow, you will be fired because there is not going to be enough revenue for you to collect.
Yeah.
Then what we're going to do then? This is, again, dramatic situation, and it's much more complex than that. But in an essence, send your credit managers to SKOs. Let them mingle with the salespeople. It's going to open the doors you didn't know existed.
I'm going to ask you what an SKO is.
Sales kickoff, sorry.
Okay, right, gotcha. I'm
Wherever
learning.
your sales managers are gathering and talking about the sales strategy, get your credit managers in there, even if they're just listening in, even if they are not contributing. I don't contribute much in the sales kickoff, but I'm listening in, and then I go talk to people at the coffee breaks, and it is very, very important.
No, I love it. I love the way you've built your network in your own organization to cover off these competing parts of the process. So, kind of going back to earlier in the interview, I just wondered, you're developing this huge personality in not only in your company but in the credit space. What was that pivotal moment when you realized the true impact of your role as a credit manager?
I think that was at some point in the organization. I was reporting into the treasury manager. And that was quite unusual, and I was quite skeptical about this. Like, how is this going to work now? But we ended up having a fantastic relationship. Hey, Bruce.
Yeah.
And what I learned from that partnership collaboration, I saw where that money goes. It sounds obvious, right? We collect the money, and then the money keeps the company going, and it's paying the salaries, it's paying for everything.
Yeah.
But seeing that firsthand, how it happens, and the role of the treasury moving the money around from one place to another, and what a huge impact me not reaching my target actually makes on the company. It blew my mind in a sense, and I was already 10 years in credit management when that happened.
Yeah.
So it's like we credit managers, we see often ourselves as the end of the process, right? We get the cash in, that's the end of the process. It is the end of the process. It's the end of the process that's called lead to cash. Cash there. But if you take the company itself, we're right in the middle of that process. If the cash cycle in the company.
I see that completely.
I think that what changed my perspective of. It started to feel more important in my job.
I mean, that is the job, and it's great to see that you see it as part of the whole, and how that cash flows through the business and helps the business grow. And I'm sure that's what you're doing for Ivanti now. Is really making them, letting them grow, because you're being, on top of their cash. And that's fantastic to see. And not only their current cash, but their future cash through working with the sales team. That's amazing. So for young professionals coming to Congress and starting out in credit, they're the start of their credit careers, aspiring to leadership roles, what advice would you give? What one piece of advice would you give a young credit professional?
I'm gonna have to repeat myself here, but again, get educated. Not only the formal degrees, take the courses, go to the conferences, network with other credit people, whatever chance you're having. Stay on top of the technology, be ready for those big discussions with the CFOs, CEOs, because they will come. And then you're going to be thanking Baiba for giving you this amazing advice. But also critical thinking. Critical thinking is so important. The information comes at us now at the light speed and faster. Be able to, I think that's another thing that came out of my MBA journey, was that they were really pushing on critical thinking every step of the way. And so it became a second nature. And it's so important. And when I realized how it helps you to sort information, to filter it, to understand what's going on, I was like, why they don't teach it in the kindergarten? That should be taught from age of 3.
I think one of the things you have, and I've learned a lot about you today just by hearing all these sound bites you've been giving me, which have been marvelous. But if I could just add on to that piece of advice you've just given about educating yourself, what I've really enjoyed about this interview is that you have your own opinion about how things should be. And what I would say is, don't be frightened to share that opinion, particularly if you are a woman, because some of us are quite shy. And when we get into a position like you're in a position now of influence in your company, if you can be like Baiba and you can stand up and say, well, I think this is what's going to happen, and I think this is what we should do. Actually, people they're very interested in people that have got opinions. They may not like it and they may not want to be the person that stands up and says it. But if you have got it in you to stand up and say it, maybe you have to be a theatre director to do that. I don't know. But if you've got a personality, then let that personality out of the bottle. And don't worry. There'll be good people around you who'll see the value of that and the sparkle of that, and they will push you forward. So be like Baiba, have an opinion, and don't be frightened to share it, because there's plenty of people out there that just sit on the fence, right, Baiba?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's very few of us.
Just going to add to this, because I am warning you, don't make a mistake that I made early in my career. Don't try to fit in somebody else's box. Make your own box. You will fit much better there. Because I was trying, I decided I wanted a corporate career. So I was trying to fit in the box that was my perception of how a corporate woman career should look like, act like, talk like. It wasn't me. I wasn't my authentic self. And I was getting frustrated, and I think people as well might have seen me as fake because I wasn't being myself. When at some point I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be myself. I'm just going to be who I am and see where it gets me, because that's way more comfortable, first of all, for me, place where to be. And yeah, it works. And to the managers and the male and female leaders who are leading people like me or similar to me, embrace them, give them the form. It might be sometimes difficult, and yeah, my bosses knows that I can sometimes be difficult and question everything. But I question everything because, first of all, I want to understand, or I want to be heard, and there are frustrations. So make sure, give them the platform and help them grow. We are wild when we grow up. I was marked as unmanageable by somebody.
I was marked as strident. I get it.
So we are wild, but if you take us under your wing, and if you mentor us, and if you help us to, we can grow and we can develop.
Yes, we can, and we can be very powerful allies as well because we get trusted, because we have no affiliation. We just tell it as it is.
Yeah,
good, bad, or indifferent, and that's sometimes what business leaders need. They need people who are just straight as a die when it comes to the factual situation. I think you're definitely one of those people. So you're a successful leader. You've got many sort of notches on your belt. How do you incorporate the values of growth and continuous improvement in your professional life? You've said that this is something that you think is a real, a real necessity for continuing to build on your career. How do you make that work for you?
Number one advice is develop growth mindset. And if you don't know what it is, go look it up. Find out all about it. I'm going to tell you very shortly what it is, but there's a whole book and various articles about it. It's basically, you take every opportunity, every mistake as a learning. Your mistakes are not because you're stupid or you're unable. Your mistakes, everybody makes mistakes. You're not the only one. You take that as an opportunity. You learn, you grow. You don't you don't go to bed and, oh my God, I'm so stupid. Why did I do that? All of us do that sometimes, but you try to get out of that mindset. Think about like, okay, I have learned, I'm moving on. I made a mistake, I learned, I'm moving on. Get feedback from your peers, get feedback from your bosses, get feedback from people reporting into you. Sometimes can be intimidating. There are many methods how you can get anonymous feedback as well. Talk to your HR if you need to, and that they can help. But I think it's very, very important to get a 360-degree of yourself view of yourself from time to time, to have a reality check.
Yeah.
Because I might think, oh, I'm this great and that great, and my team's like, yeah, but you don't do that.
I have a husband for that. He gives me feedback all day long. Honestly, I don't get away with anything. But no, I take the point that feedback and which is fair and is good. You've got to know when you're hitting the mark.
Then empower your teams, empower the people that you're working to. If you have reached a certain stage in your career and you have something to give back, start giving back. I recently started mentoring some people, and I think that journey has been more fulfilling even for me than for them. Maybe.
Oh, good.
You learn so much even by mentoring somebody else. So do that. If you don't have a mentor, go get yourself one.
Yes. You might find you've got a few people asking you to be a mentor on LinkedIn. So be ready for that. But well, they're very lucky people if you're looking after them and you're mentoring them and helping them grow in their careers. I think
that's one of my big passions. And I see some people who I hired years and years ago as like in junior credit roles.
Yeah.
And I see them growing and developing in their roles and being credit managers and growing. I look from the sidelines and I'm proud of them, and I'm proud of myself for hiring them and getting them into the profession. So I think, give back if you can.
Yes. Well, I'm immensely impressed with everything you've shared with us today. And thank you for sharing a lot of personal stuff and professional stuff. We look forward to you being a speaker at the World Credit Congress in Orlando in the fall, in October. And you're going to be talking about diversity and inclusion as part of your segment, which is going to be fascinating. And obviously networking with credit professionals around the world. So yes, thank you so much for getting involved with the Congress and for interviewing today. And I think that gives everybody a good idea of the type of caliber of people that we've got coming to Congress. And they are dyed-in-the-wool credit people, and they're coming to share their experience and they're coming to network. So thank you, Baiba, for guesting today. Baiba's website, her company website, is Ivanti. I'll put the link in the show notes. And Baiba is on LinkedIn. It's Baiba Gaigra, and I'm going to put that link in the show notes as well, so you can link directly to her and hopefully grow her fan club. You're going to have some fans after today, girl. And to everyone else who's listening to this Shergroup on the Sofa today, thank you for staying with us. Please visit our official website at shergroup.com. You can also visit the World Credit Congress.com website, where you'll find this interview and loads of other content about what's happening in Orlando. You can follow Shergroup on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're out there on every channel, and so is the World Credit Congress. So there's lots of resources for you to connect with people like Baiba, and don't be a stranger when you've got a great mentor like this, who's open to sharing her life and her aspirations, which is unusual. So I salute you, Baiba. I think you did a great job. Thank you very much for today, and can't wait to meet you in person in Orlando. All right. So thank you very much, everyone. This comes to the end of this recording today. So we'll see you again on the next episode of Shergroup on the Sofa. Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Shergroupie podcast. To join our Shergroupie community, subscribe by going to our website at www.shergroup.com. Keep up with the latest Shergroup news across all our main channels, including YouTube, LinkedIn, and across all social media. Stay connected and begin building more business relationships.